How y'all doing today? Brian here with Texas Country Music News. Got a lot to cover today, so welcome to Texas Country. We're going to cover a couple things with the T3R Music Awards show. One of them is the New Duo Group Band of the Year finalists. We're also going to cover Album of the Year finalists and Single of the Year finalists. The Album of the Year is going to be a little bit more in depth. Stick with us till the end. This is Texas Country Music News. Welcome to Texas Country. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I am Brian. This is Texas Country Music News, and welcome to Texas Country. I wanted to go into a couple things today, and I apologize. It's going to be a little bit lengthy, but it'll be worth it at the end. As promised, we are covering the Texas Country Music Awards for T3R Radio. So it's the official name is the T3R Music and Awards Show. It's going to be at Texas Live, March 26th and March 27th. There's two shows involved in that, the Future Faces show and the main award show. I have the list, it's a long list, of all the finalists for each category. And I wanted to kind of jump into those things. There was a poll on my page. Most people wanted to jump right into the really, really good stuff, but I'm going to kind of draw it out a little bit. For my own benefit, but because these artists deserve a little bit of time for all the hard work that they put in to these individual things. So I'm going to start it off. We're going to start with Single of the Year. We're going to work our way down to Album of the Year, just because the albums, I think, deserve a little bit more time, if that makes sense. So, all right, we're going to jump right into the finalists for Single of the Year 2023. For the T3R Music and Awards show. So finals number 1 is Josh Abbott Band and Flatland Cavalry. It's the song Don't It Make You Want to Dance. So I wrote down, I went back through and I listened to everything over the last couple of days, and I just kind of wrote down some notes. I'm going to kind of just go over my notes with you. I think that's the most fair thing to do for each category, just because, everybody's going to have a different view of this song, how it relates to them, but I figured I'd just give you my notes. So I wrote down, it's punchy. It makes me want to dance from beat 1. Cleto comes in with his unique vocals, only he has, followed by the sound of Josh Abbott Band coming in automatically. Makes me think they were on maybe cut. And this is kind of funny. If you listen to the beginning of the song, I think they were probably on quite a few takes when they were recording the vocals on that. It seems like Josh started to have a little bit of fun. You can kind of catch a hint of a laugh when you're listening to that song. Anyways, it's a great song. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree. So Don't Make You Want to Dance has been all over country radio. It's been, if you have a Spotify list that's like automatically curated, or Apple Music list that's like created for you based off your music likes, it's every day, probably 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day I hear Don't Make You Want to Dance. So it's definitely a popular song, well deserving to be on this list. Finalist number 2 is Wade Bowen with Everything Has Your Memory. It's one of those songs, and I wrote down here, but it's one of those songs that the more you hear it, like it's like the third time you hear it, you're singing along with the song. And I got to be honest, when I first heard the song, you can kind of go back on my YouTube and you can watch. When I first heard the song, I did not like it. I didn't think it was country enough. I'm known to be wrong, but I really do like the song now. I do have a major complaint though. If you look at the album artwork for the album that Everything Has Your Memory on, Wade, man, somebody did you a disservice. Go back and look at the artwork. His skin is perfect. He's got better skin than a baby that has just been born. I'm not even kidding. Plus, they took away like half his chin. So whoever did the Photoshop, I'm sorry, Wade, it does not look like you. I mean, it looks cool, but doesn't look like you. That's my only complaint on that. Finalist number 3 is Bree Bagwell with her song Free Man. So this is another song. All these songs have been all over the radio, but this is another song. It's a great song. Very catchy. I was a little disappointed it didn't have a music video. I went to YouTube to see if there was a music video. There's not. There's a live version, which I listened to the live version today. First time actually hearing like an acoustic live version of this song, and I gotta be honest, I might like it better than the original. I'm a huge Brie Bagwell fan. If you've been following the channel for a little while, you know I'm a huge Brie Bagwell fan. Um, but great song, Free Man, Brie Bagwell. All right, the next one is somebody figured out how to put one and one together and create two, and that is Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen with their song Rhinestoned. It's such a clever name for a song. It is a great song. Um, it's exactly what happens when two guys who are great figured out they are more phenomenal if they put themselves together. It's off their um, Hold My Beer Volume 2 album. And for Randy, that album, I should say, occupies probably one of the spots of my top three albums that have come out since 2022. If you haven't listened to the entire Hold My Beer Volume 2 or the original Hold My Beer album, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic album. But the song Rhinestoned nominated as a finalist for Single of the Year. And the next one, I am sorry. I feel like I was living under a rock. You know, until I did voting for Texas Regional Radio Music Awards, I did not know Ariel Hutchins. I do now. And I will be keeping up with her. But her song Stuck is nominated for Single of the Year. If you're following my Facebook page, you also know that it is nominated for Music Video of the Year. So those are the final nominees for Single of the Year. So keep track. Night of, day of, whatever. We'll I'll put something on my web. I'll have everything up on my website here shortly. Which is, I apologize. Either tonight or tomorrow. I got to do some website maintenance. It's nothing major. It's just gonna be a pain in the butt. Has to do with my theme and my homepage, and it's an update that basically I have to rebuild my entire homepage. So if you get to the website one of these times and things don't look like they did, or they look really out of place, I'm sorry. That's what's going on. So next we're gonna move into new duo group band of the year. Now this first one I had to look up. I'll be honest, actually, all of them except for one, I had to look up. The whole reason I got into this journey with Texas Country Music News was I wanted to promote the up and comer and little guy, and I did not know what a monumental task that was going to be. There are so many musical artists, and I'm happy for that. There are so many artists out there, but there are so many artists to a point that I can't keep track of them all. So I apologize to all these nominees, exception for one. I didn't know who you were till I YouTubed you and I listened to your albums on Apple Music. I'm a fan now. The first one is Brody Lane. Brody Lane is not a person. Apparently, it is a street that the band grew up on. AJ, the lead singer, has been in a couple other bands, mostly rock bands, I believe. If you go onto their YouTube website, they have a video pinned to the top of their channel. It says, "Who is Brody Lane?" and he kind of lays it all out. So I recommend going to their YouTube channel for two reasons. They have a video on there, and he kind of credits in that video who is Brody Lane. He kind of credits a bunch of people that he's friends with for bringing him into the Texas country music genre. And one of those people is Brie Bagwell. And apparently he produces as well as does some music videos. And I watched a couple of his music videos, and I'm telling you, I've seen his work a bunch in Texas country music. So now I kind of see how he got into it. But if you go to YouTube and you watch their video Hot Dirt, it has like almost 8,000 views from a year ago. It is bull riding, a Pontiac Trans Am, and maybe some like rock banjo, I guess is the way you could put it. Um, yeah, my opinion of Brody Lane is that there is going to be a lot of people that says it is not country music, and for a lot of people, it is country music. And this goes back to what I was saying yesterday. Um, Texas country music is a very, very broad genre, and there's no other way to put it. So, Brody Lane, new duo group band of the year. Um, yeah, he has got another one. Um, Very familiar video if you watch a lot of Texas country music artists' music videos. But he's got a song that's called "You Suck at Loving Me." It's a great music video. Great, it's a really good song too. But um, the next nominee is "Love and Chaos." The band has phenomenal harmonies. Um, they had a song. They have a song "Wildflower," and I was coming off the whole Brody Lane thing, and I was trying to psychoanalyze people I've never met before, which I don't recommend doing. Um, and I was like, yeah, if somebody's gonna see this and they're gonna say it's too hippie music. I don't know, but anyways, they did a song called "Wildflower" with Willie Braun. It's kind of like in a mountain stream. Great song, great song. But if you ever wanted to um, get into a band's kind of like work ethic, not worth, but work ethic. They have a video posted on there titled "REO Speedwagon Sticks," and basically he gets a call last minute, "Hey, can you open for REO Speedwagon on Sticks?" Boom, 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 and so it was like Dos Equis Pavilion, and then it was down in the Woodlands Pavilion, I think, in spring. And anyways, great video. They went at a drop of a hat, opened up for some things, but they have some amazing music out there. See if I had anything else in my notes. Nope, that was it. All right, moving on. The next finalist for Group of the Year, or Band of the Year, whatever you want to call it, is September Moon. I have a caveat or a note here. If you go to YouTube and you Google September Moon, do not click the cat. Okay, scroll down a little bit. You'll see music, like country music. Don't click the cat. I'm going to leave it at that. So the group is comprised of, and I should have done this with all the other ones, but the group is comprised of Daniel Brown, Catherine Rublin, and PJ West. They are fantastic harmonic group. They have a video, Abilene, which is got a nice rock and roll kind of like twinge to it. They had another song, breaking up a heart feels. Their song "How a Breaking Up a Heart Feels." They released it 2 years ago. Honestly, I haven't looked to see if they have re-released it, but they should re-release it. It would fit on Texas Country Music Radio awesome today. But I did go to Apple Music after I got done on YouTube, and because it's amazing, what people watch and listen to on YouTube is totally different than what the artists are pushing on Apple Music. So if you're looking up a new artist, I suggest doing both. But then I went to their Apple Music, and they have a song called "Gatekeeper," and immediately, and there's a lot of these bands in here that I kind of have this feeling from, but immediately, Turnpike Troubadours. Absolute feeling of Turnpike Troubadours hit me as soon as that song started. It's a great song. They didn't like cop anything or steal anything from them. It was just immediately that feeling, that feel, which kind of carries me into the next group, which is the Teague Brothers. Online, they're listed as the Teague Brothers Band. When you open up Apple Music, so the Teague Brothers, they have a song on there called "Buckskin Gelding," and from the second go, I got immediate like feeling of Zach Bryan. Not a bad thing. I don't think it's an imitation. It's just that's the style, I guess you could say, that a lot of artists are going for. That more kind of raw, simple melodic, if I can get my words out right, tonality to songs. They're amazing, amazing band. But if you go to their album, which is also released this last year, was released in October. It's a 10-song album, 42 minutes. You kind of go through the songs, and in a good way, not in a bad way, but you go through the songs, and you can kind of pick out who they were listening to at the moment. You know, like one of them kind of sounds like Turnpike, one of them kind of sounds like Randy, one of them kind of sounds like Roger Krieger, one of them sounds like Whiskey Myers, one kind of sounds like Cross Canadian. It's phenomenal. But maybe a lot of people don't. Maybe a lot of people won't hear that immediately. The second I heard that, those songs, that it was like boom, yep, I know that. But anyways, it was really good. All the songs are great. It's a very honky tonk style band, absolutely phenomenal. And then we get down to the one that I did know, because the dude has a phenomenal hat. I really love his hat. And then if you've seen his guitar strap, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a guitar strap so wide. I mean, it's like I have guitar strap envy. But anyways, it's the Wilder Blue. The Wilder Blue, most of you have probably heard of. They only have like 2,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, which I say only, and I think as I'm sitting right now, I might have 3 or 4 YouTube subscribers, but they, with 2,000 subscribers, every video is getting at least about 10,000 views. They have one song, which is just the album artwork of the song. It is 100,000, so it's just the song without the video, just song without the video, which is Dixie Darlin', which is one of their most famous songs. 100,000 views, and then again, album cover on another song, Palomino Girl, 325,000. If we go to, let's see here, Wilder Blue. I just had him up there on YouTube for a minute. I was watching Dixie Darlin'. I didn't look at the views on it. Now I'm curious. Dixie Darlin'. So the video that they did, which was just kind of like a video prior to a pre-show, like a warm-up kind of thing. It looks like it's in a green room. It is 16,000 views. So, the other one's just about to pass 100,000. So, I mean, they are reaching way above their subscriber base, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I hope I don't get hit for about what I'm about to say, but in some of their songs, their harmonies, because I mean, harmonies are not just harmonies. There's different kinds of harmonies, and in some of their songs, I get a hint of Simon and Garfunkel type harmonies. Absolute musical genius, absolutely. Their self-titled album, The Wild Blue, which is their most recent one, it is 12 songs, 48 minutes. I went through and I read some of their YouTube comments, because YouTube comments can either be good, bad, or indifferent. But on the song Palomino Girl, there was a comment that said, "Love this song." And this guy is no Shakespeare, but I just wanted to share it. Love this song because it described my experiences with my first girlfriend, who I had to break up with a couple months ago. Even after the breakup, I still love this song, so it must be a good one. There was not a bad comment on any of those songs. So highly recommend checking out Wilder Blue. So the run back through things here before we jump into it. The finalists for Band of the Year are Brody Lane, Love and Chaos, September Moon, the Teague Brothers, and the Wilder Blue. And again, if you search September Moon on YouTube, do not click the cat. Just don't do it. not like it. It's not horrible. It's just when you're thinking you're looking for a finalist in the Texas Country, Texas Regional Radio Country Music Awards, whatever show, and then that pops up. You're like, what did I just stumble into? Anyways, all right, all right. Moving on. We are going to move into album of the year. So the first one I've kind of talked about. I didn't talk about it. I posted about it, but Baker Hotel by William Clark Green. The music video for Baker Hotel is nominated for the music video of the year. I'll get into detail of that again in a video, but I've already posted about that, so that one is nominated. So I'm just going to kind of read what I wrote on each album, just to keep things kind of fair and even. So, a namesake of the iconic Spanish colonial revival hotel in Mineral Wells, the Baker Hotel album showcases Green's inner thoughts as a musician. The album is his first since 2018. It was recorded in Stephenville at Melody Mountain Studios, and it was released on March 25th, 2022 through Bill Grease Records. Green had a quote in a recent news release that says, "What this record means to me is self-reflection, realizing that I just turned 35. Welcome to the club, bud. And it's like, where am I at in life? I think that every day. Where do I want to be? Where did I think I would be? Not being able to work during the lockdown. I had a lot of time to sit and think about myself and what's really locking me down. And that's what I think this record is about." That was a quote from Green in a recent news release. I kind of go into a first couple of songs or songs that I think are note, but I generally try to go into the first couple of songs because when people listen to albums, they don't start in the middle. They just start at track one and they move through. So the album contains 13 songs. It's 46 minutes. It's absolutely worth listening to start to finish. Feel Alive is a single off the album. It's a great single with acoustic overtones, unapologetic feeling of carefree lifestyle, feeling that we can all relate to. We've all heard it on radio. It's a great song. The singles that he chose on this album are phenomenal. And William Clark Green deserves to be up there with the Randys and the Wades in the Texas country music scene because he's pulling that many people into a show. So Gun to Your Head falls a little bit more into the rock category. That's track number 2, I think, on the album. Overall, it fits well into the ambiance of the album, though. Give a Damn is the second single off the album. It's very much an anti-love song, and I love it. Anymore is the third single off the album. And I'm going to read you the lyrics, the opening lyrics to the song, and you cannot tell me that just listening to these lyrics, you can't tell me it's not a great song. It says, "You give it your best. Try not to regret the past. It's give and take. Some things you just can't take back. I pulled you in just to push you away, searching for words that I know I should say. But I wasn't expecting the thought of you leaving today. I don't want you to go, but God knows you need to. And just so you know, but damn it, I love you. And I don't know why it all seemed to die in my arms, but you don't have to try to be every little thing I need anymore." Wow. I mean, wow. It's, when it's relatable, it's going to be good. The title track, Baker Hotel, is track 5. It's the source of a second nomination. Yes, 3 total nominations. The music video portrays the lyrics of the song perfectly. The song describes the haunting history of a super historic hotel that some people believe maybe should never have been there. It was all but the crazy water craze. If you're not from Texas, you probably won't understand. If you're from Texas, you still may not understand. But there's 8 more songs on the album. Do yourself a favor, listen to Baker Hotel start to finish. You won't regret it. All right. So the next one, I'm a little biased. Don't ask me why. I'm a big Brie Bagwell fan. Her album Corazón y Cabeza is nominated, and so I'm sorry, I'm a little biased. Just in my evaluation, you may understand that. With nicknames like Queen of Texas Country Music being thrown around often, Brie Bagwell, and they are. It's understandable when she gets such praise from an album release. The Trenches is the current single on the album, but far from my favorite, it's a great song, but it's not my favorite. The total album is 11 songs, 39 minutes. It is actually Brie's first album that she's released since 2018, and it does have strong Spanish influence, if that wasn't given away by the title, Corazón y Cabeza. From her heart to her head, it's Bagwell's most intimate album to date. That was a quote from GGM staff. Born and raised in Las Cruces, New Mexico, Bagwell incorporates Spanish culture into the record with fresh instrumentals and fiery lyrics. This intimate collection penned by Brie details her experiences and her hardships. Quote, I initially thought that these songs were super personal to me. End quote, Brie admits. Quote, but my producer, Rachel Loy, assured me that the overreaching themes of struggle, love, anger, and vulnerability are universal. End quote. Brie adds, we had a blast recording in Nashville at the Sound Emporium with some country music's top musicians. Rachel Loy brought her magical ability to evaluate each tune and give it the life that it deserves. The album was independently released August 26th, 2022. It's a great album. It was kind of cool when she started releasing this album. There was the songs that were going out as singles were not the songs that they were putting out for fillers, and it kind of took me, caught me off guard, I guess you could say. But anyways, track 1 is Trenches. It's a great song. I think it's her current single that's climbing the charts right now. It's basically a song about fighting for love. The one thing that's consistent with Brie Bagwell albums is imagery that she brings forth, both through the way she sings the songs and the songs that she chooses to sing. Track 2, Cowboy Cold. It's one of those songs, everybody's going to relate to it different, but it's one of those songs that basically you've come to the limits of emotion in a relationship, if that makes sense. Track 3 was the first single that they released off there, Free Man, which is obviously nominated for Single of the Year. It's a punchy, honky-tonk song. Speaks to some possible injustices in love. Track 4, for some reason, reminds me of the Retta or a Patsy song. I'm a sucker for a good steel guitar. The whole album, when you listen to it, feels like it feels like it's over too quick. The 3 favorite songs of mine on the album: track 5, Josefina. It's got some masterful guitar work done in there. Track 9, which is a song you'd expect from someone who loves like a Burl or a Johnny, which I guess describes Be Perfect. And then the last song is Old Together. It's a song that makes you basically want to love a person more. And I said track 9, but I didn't tell you what track 9 was. So give me a second. Track 9 is Table Manners. It is an explicit song. So there you go. All right. Moving on. The next album nominated for Album of the Year is Homecoming, Randy Rogers. So When it's from Randy Rogers, you come to expect that a certain level of Texas greatness does not disappoint. With songs like I Won't Give Up, Nothing But Love Songs, Fast Car, those are just the first three songs, and they're all singles. It kind of gives you the feeling that he wrote an album of nothing but singles, which could be a good or a bad thing, because some songs get missed that way. It's like he forgot to add some filler songs. And in case you didn't know, albums are kind of filled with what I'd call filler songs. It's usually, and I'm not saying this is every artist, but especially like the Nashville albums, two, maybe three songs. This got really popular in the early 90s in rap records. There'd be like one, maybe two songs that would get released to radio or it'd be really popular. If you remember way back, P. Pablo, he had one song that anybody knew on that album. The rest of the songs on that album were trash. But anyways, they use filler songs. It's, especially in Nashville, they got people writing songs around the corner, around the clock, and they'll do market studies. But we don't do that here a whole lot in Texas, at least not that I know of. And anyways, the album's 11 songs, runs 40 minutes. It was released October 14th by Tommy Jackson Records. It was marketed by 30 Tigers. Saving Country Music opens their album review with this, and I thought it was kind of cool to include just a few quotes from a few other people. Otherwise, it gets old with me saying, yeah, it's a great album. It's a great album. It's a great album. I really like this album. It's a great, you know what I mean? So Saving Country Music opens their album review with this. If you're looking for the band that veritably defines what Texas country music is today at its zenith of appeal and popularity, it is the Randy Rogers Band, period. This is their quote, not mine. Co-Wetzel may get a few more folks through the gates and a few more bras thrown on the stage these days, but that's not really country. Other big acts have most certainly come out of Texas, but they end up becoming something else and more synonymous with Nashville or country music at large, as opposed to a distinctive sound of the Lone Star State. The Randy Rogers Band has always kept Texas. They are the official Texas house band, end quote. I can't say that I agree with somebody saying what is and is not Texas country music, because I don't think it's something that, until somebody can prove it to me that it's something ultra definable as one thing in the genre, it's just not. So anyways, 20 years, this is a quote from Randy. 20 years we've had maybe it's not, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. 20 years we've had Randy Rogers Band, and yet album review after album review says the same thing. And this is kind of crazy. If you go back and you look at all the album reviews from his prior albums, they all say the same thing. It gives you the feel of Texas country music. Okay. Anyways, it stays true to Texas. I agree. To American Songwriter, he was quoted saying, "I don't feel old yet," Randy Rogers says when asked how he feels after 2 decades of making music with his band. "I feel like our band is really coming into its own." He admits that might sound a touch cliche, but he means it, adding, "Of the Randy Rogers Band as a whole, we're comfortable in our own skin." Homecoming is their 9th studio album, which is kind of symbolic to bring everything back to where it started. Bringing in Randy Foster to produce. He guided most of their early stuff. In a quote, Rogers jokes, going back and working with Randy Foster after all these years, he probably was relieved that they weren't the young men that had no clue and thought they knew everything. In my opinion, I love every song on the album. It would be a disservice to single out just one song, so we'll keep the focus on the band. I'd say it's just an album for a lifetime. All right, so the next one, kind of interesting. Honky Tonk Heaven by Ken Foban. It's a very, very short album. It is 7 songs. It is only 24 minutes. It's a honky tonk album. I'll get into some other things here, but I'm going to go over every track in this because it's that short of an album. The very first song, it opens up with a song called Locked Up in Lubbock. And when it started playing, I immediately got the imagery of John Travolta standing in the bar up against the bar in Urban Cowboy. I'm telling you, like that's the feeling I got from that song. Track two, it's the song Playview. It slows it down a little bit. It's got a great music video on YouTube. I'd go watch it. But it's one of those songs you've at least I feel like in order to do it justice, you got to be out there two stepping or waltzing. And I'll be the first to tell you, um, I didn't grow up here in Texas. I grew up in western Nebraska and Colorado, and there wasn't a lot of dancing going on there. So I never learned to two step or waltz. It wasn't because I didn't want to learn, just I never learned how to do it. So if one of you all want to bite the bullet and teach a you know, just teach me how to dance, I would greatly accept your help, but I don't know that you might be able to help that much. Track three, so my wife, one of her favorite movies is Grease. And I'm telling you, track three, when it opens up, it's like one of the title tracks to Grease. But it is the title track to this album, which is Honky Tonk Heaven. And can we also hope that there is a honky tonk in heaven? Track four, Prettiest Girl in Texas, for some reason reminds me of a little bit of like a Dwight Yoakam, Bakersfield Beat kind of feel to it. It's not like the song sounds like anything that Dwight performed. It has that undertone to it. Maybe I'm getting too deep in the song. Track five, Cherokee County opens up with this beautiful piano. And I got to say, I listen to a lot of music. I'm a sickening amount of music. I could not tell you the amount of hours I've spent just listening to music in the last 3 years. But Cherokee County opens up with beautiful piano. It shows a much softer side of Ken's voice. I love it because it's got minimal editing to it. The vocal track has just a little bit of delay added to it. A little bit of doubling it a few times, but they did such a great job editing that song because they left some of that grit and imperfection in his voice. And I think it's one of my favorite songs on that album. Track six, Last Call. I don't know. I listened to the whole album twice today, and the same feeling I got the first time, I got again the second time. I do not feel like track six belongs on that album. It just doesn't feel like it belongs. It feels like I don't know. It feels like a piece of crabgrass in a beautiful lawn. It's a good song. It just doesn't feel like it belongs there. And then the track that wraps the album is titled Wild Horses. It's a song about a girl that every guy has probably known, possibly loved, and more than likely lost. The whole song is perfect if you're in a honky tonk, and that's not an admonishment, but a compliment. And I will say that too many albums have lost their purpose, I think. What I mean by that is we're creating albums to sell merch. We're creating albums to sell concert tickets. But at least in my eyes, music was like the purpose of music is to connect to one another as human beings, but also to bring joy, to convey emotion, and to make you want to kind of dance, to make you have so much conviction in that emotion that you make them feel that they need to move their body. And Ken does that in this album. A lot of people don't. Now, with that being said, this album is 100% Texas. But when I did this research for this story, I was able to pull up story after story after story after story on all these other artists about their albums. There was, and maybe Maybe I had some weird glitch on my computer. There was not a single news story done on this album for Ken. Don't know why. I personally think maybe it's bad timing and the fact that the album is so short. He released it during 2021. So it's one of the older albums that's on this list. I don't know if it had to do with 2021. I don't know if it's the short album. I don't know. It's a great album. I would not be surprised if it won. It has every chance to win. It's that good. There wasn't any news coverage on it. So, at least not from any of the major sources like Saving Country Music or those guys over there. Anyways, so the next one, actually the next two, there's two more, and then that's it. Wow, made it to the end almost. The next two, I guess, could be kind of controversial in some way, shape, or form. I'm just gonna say it. So the next one is Miles and Miles of You. Miles and Miles of You by Pat Green. It is 10 songs. It is 36 minutes. It is 100% Pat Green. So I'm originally from, like I said, Colorado, Nebraska. And when you talk about Pat Green in Colorado, there's a lot of middle-aged women that love them some Pat Green. Ooh, that wave on wave guy, man. Woo-wee. They love some Pat Green. I got to Texas, and it's undeniable Pat Green is a legend. But he sometimes, maybe, I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. Sometimes he has like the Nickelback effect in Texas country music. It's like, at least, and that's my opinion, my observation and opinion, whatever. It seems like it's mainly with people born, I guess, in that like 1980 to 1990 range. Somehow they don't listen to Pat Green, but they're able to sing along to every song when it comes on the radio. I don't know what it means. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with Nashville's love of Pat Green. When you search Pat Green, you search this album, it's not your normal Texas outlets that are the first ones that pop up. Nope. It's Taste of Country. It's, album reviewers and raters and things like that from Nashville. But he's not a Nashville artist anymore. He left Nashville. He's back in Texas. I mean, he's a Texas artist. I don't know. But Taste of Country did have a very good way of putting this album, describing this album. So it says, Miles and Miles of You is described as a full creative resurgence for the country singer. The project themes include gratitude, resilience, and optimism, which makes it the timely release Green is looking for. Dwight A. Baker, who has worked with Josh Abbott Band and Bob Schneider in the past, produced all 10 tracks. And that was off of their Taste of Country. If you want to figure it out, what article it was the article titled Pat Green releasing first album in 7 years, Miles and Miles of You. Green had this to say about the album: I don't really write songs just to sit around and write songs. The Wave on Wave singer shares, all my songs are so autobiographical, they're personal. Again, he was talking to a Nashville person. It doesn't make sense to them to write just songs for yourself and for an album. No, you go to these songwriting sessions and it's like you're expected to pump out 30 songs a week or so. I don't know. It's some ridiculous amount of time. But anyways, American Songwriter says this about the album: the 10-track album is balanced with ballads and bangers, fun and anthemic songs like If I Don't Have a Honk Tonk, meet intimate and self-reflective tunes like Steady about his wife Corey, and Bad Bones, a song he calls a trip through my extremely twisted 12-step life. For us, Build a Bar is our favorite song. And I'm not sure if it's not just because it's on every radio station I listen to and every playlist that's curated for me. I personally love Pat and all that he does. But I will say, and take this for what it is, compared to the other albums that are in this category being released August 22nd, 2022 through Pat Green Records and Empire Music. I also believe that Pat has a much bigger promotion machine behind him than the other artists in this category, which doesn't make him bad or inherently evil in any way, in my opinion. I think it's actually quite the contrary. I think he just learned to play the game, learned how to play it well. And maybe it's the reason he's often the target of dismissal or begrudging comments. I don't know, maybe it's Patriot syndrome. I mean, I don't think he's deflated any guitars or it's a bad joke. Yeah. I mean, I love Pat Green. What can I say? It's a great album. All right. The last one, I don't know why these guys are just controversial a little bit sometimes. But the last one is Unwanted Man by Aaron Watson. So June 17th, 22, Aaron released Unwanted Man on A-Dub Records. It was around the same time that we all wondered if we were ever going to hear another song from Aaron Watson because he had that vocal cord surgery. The smooth sound of Aaron's voice pounds all the way through this album. And as my wife says every time she hears his voice, he has a sexy voice. Not me saying that. That's my wife. My wife thinks Aaron Watson has a sexy voice. What can I say? I mean, it's a good voice. So I got to admit, I was a little confused when I moved to Texas. Coming from Colorado, Aaron Watson, Cody Johnson, Turnpike Troubadours, and more, they're billed as like premier Texas country. There's a bar in Colorado or in Denver called the Grizzly Rose. A lot of people heard about it. It's kind of world famous. But I mean, that's the kind of music that they were promoting at the time. This is pre-Kojo getting the big Nashville deal. But, you know, I get down here and, I mean, Kojo gets a bad rap for going to Nashville, whatever. Turnpike hasn't been active for years. I mean, they're just making a comeback now. I don't know if you'd call it a comeback yet, but I mean, they're just getting back into it. It's undeniable what they've done in country music. But for Aaron, whatever, it seems he's very popular to a ton of people, just not a lot of people that I know. And I can't quite figure out why. I mean, the album is probably one of the other two. You heard about one. This would be the second album in my top 3 that have been released since 2022. I don't say that lightly, but if we had to be impartial, we think you should listen from track 1 through track 11 in order until completion, and then repeat. The album can be summarized by describing it as life, love, rodeo, cowboy, and chaos, everything Texas country music should be. Saving Country Music says this about Aaron. Aaron Watson might be one of the hardest artists to get a read on in country music. He's fiercely independent and principled performer who embodies the DIY outlaw spirit of the music as much as anyone. Yet Watson also covets many of the sounds and accolades of the mainstream and incorporates these into his music to the chagrin of some of his more traditional fans. This created a career that straddles the cultural divide as opposed to choosing one side or the other, which strangely makes Aaron Watson even more of a maverick than some of the independent artists that shirk the mainstream altogether. Aaron Watson wants to beat the mainstream at their own game. Quote from Saving Country Music, I kind of agree. And then I tried to just summarize Unwanted Man. I've been listening to it since it came out. It's a really good album. I just couldn't summarize it better than what Saving Country Music did, so I'm gonna use a quote for them, and we're just gonna call it that. Unwanted Man is a very much Aaron Watson album. I mean, if you know Aaron Watson, that's what it is. He can be a little hokey at times, veer too much into the contemporary sounds, but he's also one of the biggest champions of the independent approach to country and write and perform a song that speaks to the beauty of country music more than most. Beauty of country music. I wonder if he had beauty of country music when he was writing songs like Now I got to go back and look at it. Getaway truck. I don't know. That's why God loves cowboy. Yeah, I think probably. There's an on, let's see, what album was that? I'm kind of going down on his album, Underdog, I think it was. Rodeo Queen. Great song. Anyways, so that's kind of the coverage today. Told you it was going to be a little bit long. We're at 50 minutes right now for recording time. Plus, I got to do editing into that, so it's probably going to be a little bit longer. Coming up, my goal is to get this next one out. It's Friday, so get the next one out. Where's my sheet here? All right. Oh, missing something here. There it is. Got 5 minutes. So, my goal is tomorrow, we're going to cover new female vocalist of the year and new male vocalist of the year. Sunday, I'm going to dedicate to female vocalist of the year finalists. And then Monday, we're going to get out male vocalist of the year and entertainer of the year. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, yell at me. I don't care. Just help me get the word out. This is what I do for passion. So also, if you again, if you're on the website, you see some weird stuff happening, I am in the process of doing some updates, which is going to change the look just a little bit. But in the meantime, it's not going to be a super smooth transition. If you'd like to advertise with us, just let me know. I would be happy to work with you and help promote your business if you would like to help promote mine. Also, getting closer to getting the camera. I don't know if I can get the camera over there or not. So the guitar I was telling you about. Oh, gotta go that way. Let's see if I can zoom this in here. So the guitar that I was telling you about that I'm trying to get signed. Ooh. Sorry, I have the autofocus turned off. Yeah, it's that one right there. And sorry, my shelf's a little bit of a mess. But it's that Yamaha there. And it's been signed already by Eric Willis, John Wolf, and get my camera there. And Kyle Rader. Those are the 3 signatures on it so far. So my goal is to get that filled up with signatures and auction it off to the highest bidder to help promote young kids getting into music. There's a couple of music studios out here in the rural areas that, maybe a young kid hears a Scotty Alexander album and wants to learn to play fiddle, or maybe they see Ken Fo playing and they want to learn how to play fiddle. Well, maybe their parents can't afford a fiddle and they're not in an area where they have like a rental place. You know what I mean? I would really like to figure out a way to, provide that person with a fiddle. Not going to say it's going to be the nicest fiddle or the best fiddle, but it's a fiddle. Same thing with guitars. Like, there's a lot of guitars out there that are perfect for beginners that a lot of people bought and they're just sitting on. Not saying it's a bad thing, but if you have a guitar that you wanted to give away to a young kid that's just needing something to learn on, get a hold of me. I can find you a kid that needs it. Same thing with fiddles. Same thing with stand-up basses. Even the handheld bass guitars. Yeah. And the other thing, we got a dying art in country music that a lot of people don't realize, and it's the steel guitar. That's a very, very, very difficult instrument to learn. And not a lot of people can teach it or know how to play it. So it's kind of a dying thing. So if you hear steel guitar on an album, every time I hear steel guitar, I get a little bit of chills because I know how few people there are left that can truly play steel guitar. So, anyways, I'm Brian. Be sure to check with us tomorrow in the next 3 days to watch these other finalists, and then I've got some other stuff. I did some reaching out to some of the radio stations that are nominated too, so hopefully we get some interviews with those guys. But in the meantime, I'm Brian. This is Texas Country Music News. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Texas Country. God bless you.